Hi, this is Michael Bevan with the Akron Beacon Journal. I'm here today with St. Vincent St. Mary head football coach Marcus Wattley of the Fighting Irish. Marcus, what do you like about this football team here, the 2017 edition of your football team?
The thing I really like about our guys right now is we're improving every day. We have a young team. We lost 21 seniors last year. 17 of them were starters at some point in the season. And the challenge for us was taking young guys who were talented and get them to reach their potential. So I told the guys in the offseason, we got to get better every day, every practice, every snap, every game. And I'm seeing that. We got, sometimes we have good quarters, good series, good halves. We had to put together a full, great game. And, but they're working hard. They bought into what we're trying to do here. And that's all you can ask for as a coach.
Who are your top senior leaders?
By far, Scott Walter. He'll be a 3-year starter for us. He was All-Ohio last year. He's up there. He's probably leading us in tackles and interceptions, and he makes plays on offense and defense. Plays wide receiver for us, one of the leading receivers we have as well, and punt returner. And Scott, when we need plays to be made, Scott's the kind of guy we lean on to make plays. Made a big play in the Bookville game with the one-handed catch to change the field position. Had a big punt return last week against Mooney. So when we're searching for plays to be made, Scott seems to find a way to emerge and step up. And then we have Adam Neal and Cameron Irvin, who've been starters for this year and last year, making plays for us and on the offensive line and leading a young group of guys. We're starting a sophomore and 2 juniors, so those guys have been leading those guys.
Who are some of your top up-and-coming players that we've talked about?
Well, obviously, if you've read the paper, Luke Lindsay, quarterback. Luke started as a freshman last year and into the playoffs, got hurt in the playoffs, had a good offseason. Terrence Keys leads us in rushing yards and touchdowns. And, he hasn't had the big game that he's hoping for, but he's getting ready to break one. You can see it's getting close. Starting Russell Cooper, who's a new starter for us, who played a little bit last year, is playing for us. Jalen Burton. We're playing a lot of young guys. There's a lot of up-and-comers. Unfortunately for us, a lot of up-and-coming young guys that I can count on, but those guys probably stick out the most.
And in football, there's so many names to name. If you were not mentioned, don't feel left out or offended. As far as with this rivalry, it's week 5. St. Vincent St. Mary is going to meet Archbishop Hoban at the University of Akron. What do you look for in this game, and what are some of the talking points and storylines in this one?
Well, obviously, the rival game takes care of itself. Opportunity for us to, we've lost the past 2 years, to get a chance to get these seniors out here with the win over Hoban. Don't want them to go out losers. We're 4-0, they're 3-1. Two teams that, I think watching Hoban on film, they're going to compete for a Division II state championship, and I think we'd like to be right there in the end of Division III. So a lot of things built in, playoff points on the line, Shillelagh stick on the line, rivalry on the line, playing at Akron, University of Akron. It's just so much you can talk about and the history of it. It's such a great opportunity for kids to come and be a part of, so a lot to look forward to.
The rivalry obviously started in the late 50s, continued in the 60s, and it was renewed in the 1996 season, I believe.
Right.
Hoban won that year, then St. Vincent St. Mary won the next year in 97. Hoban won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
St. Vincent St. Mary won 8 in a row.
Correct.
The last 2 years, there's been 4 meetings, all won by Hoban. How many games have you been involved in this rivalry?
I came over with Coach Borman. My first year was the 2007 season, so the 8 wins in a row there, plus the past 4, so probably 12 games, right around there, and never a dull moment. We've had triple overtime games. We've had games won on last-second plays and things like that. So it's one of those things where no matter how good either team is, I think both teams expect a dogfight. And I don't expect anything different on Friday.
So back to 2007, you were at the Rubber Bowl.
Correct.
The
Correct.
venerable,
the
leaky
facility. Faucet. Yeah.
And now you're at a brand new multi-million-dollar facility. As far as away from the field, Coach Wattley, what do you do other than coach football? I'm sure you do a lot of things. What are some of the things, if you could take us into the Wattley household, what else goes on?
Well, most of the time I like to spend time with my wife and my kids. I got a little girl who's 3 and a little boy who's coming up on 8 months. Try to spend as much time as I can with them, but I'm not sure how other coaches are, but being a head coach does not exclude me from doing house chores. So I'm mowing the yard, taking the trash out, doing things that my wife asks me to do when I have time. So, I enjoy being around my family and my buddies and trying to relax. And I think most importantly, if I have time for myself, it's watch a game that I don't have emotions vested into it. We got a couple guys at Ohio State, a couple guys at Akron, a couple guys playing college ball at like Dayton and places like that. So I try to watch those guys when I get a chance, and it's nice to be able to watch guys you care about play and not have to have the emotions and put all the time in to do it. Just sit back and relax and hope your guys are successful.
Okay. As far as baseball, basketball, golf, swimming, do you keep up in any of those activities?
I'm a big time sports fan. I follow all that stuff. When the majors are on, golf, tennis, I watch it. Obviously, we got kids at Ohio State. I watch that stuff. Basketball, for me, I don't watch it till the playoffs start. Obviously, the Indians are doing well, and I've been fortunate enough to get home at around 8th or 9th inning, so I've been watching the tail ends of that stuff. So when I can, I do. But my wife, she's got her shows, so I end up watching those instead of watching sports.
And who are some of the athletes and coaches that you looked up to when you were a child, a teenager, and then in your early adult years?
When I was young playing linebacker, I loved Lawrence Taylor. He was a freak of nature when you watch him. Obviously, back when I was growing up, you didn't have YouTube and stuff like that. You had to actually get the VHS tapes out and stuff. Loved Randall Cunningham. My favorite football team is probably the Eagles, excluding the Browns, if the Browns aren't mentioned. Loved Scottie Pippen. I always thought Scottie Pippen was one of the great teammates in all sports. A guy who you see guys today talk about wanting to be the guy and do all this other stuff, but he was a guy who probably could have had his own team, but decided winning was more important to him. And I got a Scottie Pippen jersey, Scottie Pippen picture. I just think he embodies to me what team sports are all about.
And as far as the modern athletes, who are some of the guys that you really respect and think are a good example for student athletes?
My wife and I were talking. Seeing what J.J. Watt did for the hurricane relief, I think something is incredible. He's raised multi-million dollars to help support the people in that area that was affected. He seems like a genuinely good guy. He seems to care. You read great things about him in newspapers and magazines. Obviously, LeBron James is the one you see who takes care of kids, who does a good job of remembering where he came from and trying to be a good role model for kids. And the great thing I think about him is he teaches the education part as well as the athletic part when everything feeds. So those two guys probably stand out the most.
All right, Marcus Wattley, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck with the remainder of this season. Have fun out there.
Thanks, Mike. See you around.